What's up? This is GEO. GEO here, coming at you with some great content here. This is omni action, right? So omni means like total, right? In totality, everywhere, all the time. Omni action. All is one, by the way. All mind in all action. As there is nothing but mind, the only action there can be is this mind, being ever actively aware of itself in its entirety. Being is action. Action is being. Being itself, universally and individually. The finite concept of action is usually mere motion or change, an alteration from one form or pattern to another, which it considers improvement, evolution, or progression. Actually, action is eternal, perpetual, and changeless. God is action. Action is God. Spirit, consciousness, life, awareness. It cannot slow down, falter, hesitate, be intermittent, or stop. Life is constant, continuous. Nothing else exists. Existence is life ever being alive to being itself, its self-being. Nowhere in infinite consciousness is there an absence of awareness. Nowhere is there a vacuum, a hole, or nothing. Life being infinite, there can be no absence of life anywhere, at any time. To life, death cannot exist. So it is never a threat. It's never a menace, opposer, or an enemy. There is no enemy present. Death is no wise, whether as mind or death in no wise, whether as mind or severe chronic or acute human condition, can present itself in life, nor contend with it in battle. Death has neither force, power, intelligence, substance, identity, victim, nor cunning purpose. Life is all there is. Life is complete, all-inclusive, present, absolute, perfect action. Nowhere is it stopped. Nowhere is it delayed. Nowhere is there a friction, irritation, abrasion, attrition, a wearing down, or a wearing away. Action is whole, entire, one, and there is nothing opposing it. What you may demand, you say? You may demand there is no opposition to God, to perfect action? Why, you must be crazy or blind. On every side I behold the evidence of opposition, friction, stress, and strain. Old age, fear, senility is rampant. Ask any pastor, any doctor, or any undertaker, and he will tell you that life is no bed of roses. Wherever one goes, the streets are filled with the signs of trouble. The radio broadcasts it, the TV and the newspaper verify it. Every human sense within me testifies that there is a shortage of action manifesting itself as inaction, diseased or no action, such as Perilousness, or being paralyzed, stoppage, immobility, poverty, insanity, and death. On an overaction such as uncontrolled motion, blind force, devastation, chaos, and destruction, seen when nature, wind flows, tidal waves, volcanoes erupt, and everything goes on like a rampage. Dear reader, none of this mortal picture is going on, as I've told you before. None of it is real in truth. None of it has any relation to action. It is not happening to God, reality, actuality, the I self anywhere under any circumstance. The so-called elements of human assumption are the same in substance, composition, and scope as the nonsense in a nightmare. They come from the same place, occupy the same space, and operate in the same land of nod. Nowhere. Dear reader, who are you? Humanity, where are you? Dear reader, you are not human, you are divine. Above all, do not declare that I am nothing. It is true that there is no human, spirit being all, as there is nothing but God, who is declaring I am nothing. One cannot justly call the self, God, mind, I am nothing. In the revelation that love is all, we do not make nothing of anything that exists. Whatever is, is. Whatever is spirit only, for there can be nothing else. The entirety of your identity, your I am, is consciousness. This leaves nothing to be nothing, or a nothing to be ever, or a nothing to ever be an idea, form, thing in mind. When we declare there is no human race, no personal being, nothing physical or material, it is because God is the only one, the infinite all. He is a jealous God, does not share with anyone else. Where then are relatives and family trees, coniferous people? Where is disease, suffering, hell? All that exists is divine throughout. What is not spirit is not extent. Do not hesitate to see that God is your sole mind, that you have no little human mind that can thwart or defy omnipotence and omniscience. You do not have to grow into truth. Truth is already the entirety of you. Rejoice in this fact. Yours truly, Alfred A. Aiken, a letter to his readers from a book called That Which Is, a book on the absolute reality. Chapter 2, God. For thousands of years, the world has been advancing ideas as to the nature of God, of life, mind, being. Civilization is what it is today because of accepted notions and beliefs concerning deity. Our moral behavior, social and criminal codes, our political, domestic, civil, and religious actions stem from the general accredited conception of the Supreme Being. While many may claim they do not believe in God, basically they seem to mean that they do not fall into a certain religious groups, do not conform to a theological pattern. They certainly believe in life, which is but another name for God. They believe in mind, intelligence. God, good is real to them. Truth is real. Love is real. But they refuse a man-compounded God, ground to fit into a theological capsule. Those who are content with a formalized human concept of deity will say the non-conformer is wrong, even as they also are apt to believe that the people who adhere to any ecclesiastical doctrine other than their own are equally doomed. The old story of me and mine are right, but you and yours are wrong holds a strong position in the average religious point of view. Belief in God, regardless of creed, is not sufficient to guarantee peace and well-being in our daily living, so long as God is considered to be off there, while the other praying is while the one praying is here. There is separation, duality. There is double-mindedness. Such a worshiper finds himself unstable in all his ways. God is one God. God is one power, one presence, one life, one being. God is infinite, and there cannot be more than infinity. From infancy from infancy we hear that God is omnipresent and almighty, yet in the same breath we are taught caution against evil, God's absence. Evil, the devil, supposedly lurks closer than any shadow in spite of God's presence, and is ready to tempt us to violate man-made moral codes in all our dealings, whether with our person or with relatives or friends or business associates or society. Evil supposedly can abuse us at will, robbing us of good in every act we perform, whether eating, sleeping, praying, or working. We must be ever cautious against the powerful thrust of this enemy that ignores present omnipotence, and can destroy our sanity, health, and wealth on the individual, domestic, national, and international levels. We are taught that there is not a moment from the time of human conception to the grave that we are free from this threat of evil. Even our most innocent act can suddenly become the basis for tragedy. Where is God in all this? As God is omnipresent, does God admit or permit another besides him? See Isaiah 44:8. If God is almighty, all power, all presence, is he also this evil one, this evil power, evil presence that we fear? He must be so if evil is, for there is no other beside the infinite one. Yet remember, God is good, and the same tree does not bear both good and evil fruit. Uncontested, undeviated good is not intermittent and cannot be contrary to itself, cannot be both present and absent. Life is the changeless one, in whom there is no variableness or shadow of turning. Joshua 1:17. It is certain that God is not opposed to himself, is not ignorance and intelligence, death and life, evil and good. We read that God's eyes are too holy, whole, complete, total, infinite, to behold iniquity, and he does not look upon evil. Habakkuk 1:13. No, interested reader, God is not a contradiction of himself. From first to last, all-inclusive, God is one God, and there is none beside him. See Mark 12:32-33. Evil, no matter what its seeming nature, appearance, duration, claim, cause, following, authority, or prestige, is a denial of God, an ignoring of truth, a fable, a fiction without reality, identity, power, or substance. It is as baseless as the pretended mentality that claims to know, recognize, experience, or fear it. God is the soul mind. God is intelligence itself. God is truth, fact, reality, actuality. God is spirit, consciousness, awareness. Awareness is the only substance that is. God is the all of all, everywhere, always. God is his own presence. Nothing but God is. Are these hard words to understand? My friends, I've been trying to say this for so long through all my videos. To the so-called infinite or human mind, they are foolishness. The finite cannot lay hold upon the infinite. Could the finite understand, embrace, include the infinite, then that very instance the finite would lose its status. What this means is the finite, the mortal you that you see yourself as does not exist, cannot exist, is nothing but an illusion. That's that part of you that is listening cannot understand what's being said here. And the moment that that part of you, or the moment that you understand what's being said here, you will see the illusion dissolve. This separate feeling that you have. Going on. Could the infinite understand, embrace, include the infinite, then in that very instance, the finite would lose its status, would cease to be finite. Again, should the finite even touch the infinite at any point, in that instance, it would occur its own utter demolition. Extinction. Why? Because these are contrary one to the other. Galatians 5:17. Light is forever the eternal exclusion of darkness. It does not have to attack darkness as if it were something. For where light is, there is no darkness to extinguish. There is no battle between good and evil, truth and fiction, the present and that which is not present. The positive absolute presence of God is an eternal assurance and insurance that no absence of God called evil is ever at hand anywhere as anything. All power belongs to God. God being infinite, to whom else can power belong? There is no one else. When evil seems to present itself, domestic, social, economic, or political, pay attention, stop trying to overcome it, battle with it, correct it, cast it out, rather turn entirely from it to life, consciousness, awareness from God. For God is positive, absolute, real. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. John 8:32 shall reveal that God is all. There is no vacuity anywhere. The teaching that we are humans equipped with a separate mind, capable of making a choice between one infinite, all-inclusive good and evil, is evil itself and is a figment of nothingness, responsible for all the faulty assumptions. As God is all, there are no humans. We are divine. No one has a separate mind. There is but one mind present, and that one is God, infinite intelligence. The very mind writing these words, reading these words, is God. There is no other one. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ, and there is no letting. Philippians 2:5. The record of this passage follows the common theological teaching that we can let or not let, that we have a choice, which is not true. A so-called personal you or me has no choice in the matter as to whether or not God shall be God. God is all. God was all. God being infinite, all-inclusive, will never be will forever be the only one. Human personalities are not God's keepers. God is not subject to a human's decisions. God does not have to wait upon us to permit, allow him to function as the whole one. No one can say unto deity, "What are you doing?" Daniel 4:35. The theological teaching concerning an almighty God and an equally mighty devil with whom he has to contend has led the human race into strange ways. In Genesis, the opening book of the Bible, under the cover of the mist that goes up from the face of the ground, evil first appears as a small talking serpent. But by the end of Revelations, the last book, that same talker has worded itself into a great red mighty dragon, Revelations 12:3. By what authority? Talk, 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 talk. Nothing else but talk. No matter how voluptuous, I don't even know the word, has never changed one tiniest fraction of God, who is the same yesterday and today and forever. Hebrews 13:8. One cannot behold, see, or accept God through the agency of channels of a personal finite mind. One cannot start from a human me point of view and look out upon infinity. Formal ecclesiasticism, personal notions, pride, or intellectualism, position, erudition count for nothing in truth. They must be stepped over or bypassed if one would behold himself as he already spiritually is, absolute, perfect, and one with this unity. No matter how fair and bright or dark, dismal or gloomy things seem to be, how wonderful or horrible, how worthy or unworthy, diligent, slothful you believe yourself to be as a person, a member of the human race, turn aside from such useless contemplation and misidentification. Ask yourself to define the word infinite. What does it mean? Do you accept Webster's definition? Is God dependent upon personal sanction or human acknowledgement, the nod of a head from a so-called finite mind? Is there room in the infinite for its opposite, its contradiction, its denial? Are there two natures within the unchanging perfect one? Can truth include error? Never, never. Can the infinite one conflict with another when there is no other? No. Has theology, psychology, or metaphysics revealed positive reality, the absolute, to you? Is there anything at all you still desire? Have you reached the ultimate you sought? Are you happy, content, whole? If so, why are you reading this book? Don't read on any further. Move to another channel. Stop reading entirely. You're done. One cannot climb up some other way, for he who would do so is a thief and a robber. And that's John 10:1. There is but one way, and that is not the road of revolution, evolution, overcoming evil, nor attempting to become divine. One does not climb by lifting the human mind, watching his thoughts, purifying material sense, or through the process of personal understanding and demonstrating. God only knows God. God knows God is all, knows all God is. Truth does not look to the human, the personal, the limited, or finite so-called mind to discover, perceive, know, or understand anything at all of the infinite. For such to know truth is an absolute impossibility. It can never happen any more than a peruvable, I can't say the word, camel can pass through the eye of a needle. Untruth can become truth, or untruth can become truth. Truth looks only to itself. There is nothing else and nowhere else for truth to look. Being infinite truth, God excludes the possibility of anything at all finite, limited, diseased, fearful, or imperfect. If approached from a pragmatic or general acceptance human point of view, one will insist that this statement does not make sense. See 1 Corinthians 2:14. To such it cannot make sense. Thinking it over or reasoning about it will not make it clear. Why? Because such an approach is duality, ignorance, confusion, chaos, superstition is based on a supposition personal mind with its limited dimensional circumscribed and assumptive reasoning, or finiteness as self, which deals only with its own fallacious assumptions of cause and effect. Only God, the infinite, can behold and interpret the infinite. No less than infinite mind can comprehend, see, or understand, can know or plumb the depths of itself. See 1 Corinthians 2:11-16. To imply even that a personal mentality can see, weigh, judge, or understand infinity is to assume that the infinite is limited or small enough to be circumscribed by personal mind, that the finite has greater insight, is more intelligent, more elastic, and of larger proportion than God. For otherwise, how could it discover and ingest infinity? Just a little bit of that which is for you. So I've been speaking about this whole entire time, about that which is. So beautiful. Anyway, much love to you. I'm going to see how this came out. Until the next video. Got a lot to say about what we read, though. I'm not sure if I'm going to post this, but if I don't, I'll probably read it again and then try to post it again. But we'll see. I may just post it. I usually just post it. I don't care about the mistakes. I really don't. The meat is in here, and the mistakes and the fluff and the hype are to just remove those that are really not here to listen. They're just viewing real quick. So anyway, much love to you. That's a book called That Which Is by Alfred A. Aiken. And if you want a copy of the book, I have it. It's free. Just get in touch with me, leave me a comment, or send me an email.